June 6, 1944 D-Day, the day America stormed Hitler's Europe by 1944. Europe had been living under a shadow for nearly 5 years. Nazi Germany controlled vast territories, from France to Eastern Europe. Cities were occupied, governments collapsed, and millions lived under fear. Adolf Hitler believed Western Europe was secure behind his massive coastal defense system, known as the Atlantic Wall. America enters the Long War. When the United States entered World War II, it did not rush blindly into Europe. Instead, America prepared. Factories ran day and night. Ships, tanks, weapons, and aircraft were produced in numbers the world had never seen. Soldiers trained for years, not months, knowing that one mistake on European soil could cost the war. The need for a second front. The Soviet Union was bleeding heavily on the Eastern Front. Allies knew that without opening a second front in Western Europe, Germany could concentrate all its strength against the East. The solution was bold and dangerous. Invade Nazi-occupied France directly from the sea. Choosing Normandy, France's northern coast was heavily defended, but Normandy offered one advantage: surprise. German commanders believed the invasion would come at Pas-de-Calais, the narrowest point across the English Channel. Normandy seemed unlikely. That assumption would prove fatal. Operation Overlord begins. The invasion plan was given a name: Operation Overlord. It was the largest military operation ever planned. Over 2 million Allied soldiers were assembled in Britain. Every detail was rehearsed: landing craft timing, beach assaults, airborne drops, and naval bombardments. Deception on a massive scale. To fool the Germans, the Allies launched one of the greatest deception operations in history. Fake tanks, fake radio traffic, and even fake armies were created. German intelligence was convinced the real invasion would come later and somewhere else. Weather. The final enemy by early June 1944. Everything was ready except the weather. Storms swept across the English Channel. High waves and heavy clouds threatened to delay the invasion. Many commanders advised postponement, but delay meant discovery. Eisenhower's decision. Supreme Allied Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower faced an impossible choice: go now and risk disaster, or wait and risk losing surprise. After reviewing weather reports, he made the decision that would change history. Okay, let's go. The night before, on the night of June 5th, thousands of Allied aircraft took off. Paratroopers were dropped deep behind enemy lines. Their mission: secure bridges, block reinforcements, and prepare the beaches for invasion. Many landed far from their targets, scattered in darkness, but they fought anyway. Silence before chaos. As midnight passed, the largest invasion force in human history moved toward France. Soldiers sat quietly in landing craft, seasick, praying, or staring into darkness. By dawn, Europe would never be the same. First light over Normandy. As dawn broke on June 6, 1944, Allied naval guns opened fire. Battleships pounded German positions along the coast. The sea itself seemed to shake. For a brief moment, it appeared the defenses might collapse before soldiers even landed. 5 beaches, 1 objective. The Normandy coast was divided into 5 landing zones: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. American forces were assigned Utah and Omaha. British and Canadian forces took the remaining beaches. Each beach presented unique challenges, but Omaha would become the most deadly. Utah Beach. Controlled chaos at Utah Beach. American troops landed slightly off target, but the mistake worked in their favor. German resistance was lighter than expected. Casualties were relatively low, and troops quickly moved inland, securing their objectives. Omaha Beach. Hell on earth, Omaha Beach was different. German defenses remained intact. Machine gun fire ripped through landing craft. Soldiers drowned under the weight of their gear. Bodies piled up along the shore. Entire units were pinned down with nowhere to go. Fear, fire, and determination. For hours, Omaha seemed lost. Commanders feared the beach would have to be abandoned. But small groups of soldiers, without orders, began moving forward. They climbed cliffs, destroyed bunkers, and opened narrow paths through German defenses. Airborne forces behind enemy lines. Meanwhile, paratroopers fought in villages, fields, and forests. Cut off and surrounded, they disrupted German communications and delayed counterattacks. Though scattered, they achieved their mission through sheer determination. German commanders were slow to react. Many believed the Normandy landings were a diversion. Requests for reinforcements were delayed. Hitler himself was asleep, and not immediately informed. Those lost hours proved decisive. Naval and air support, Allied aircraft dominated the skies. German planes were nearly absent. Naval guns moved closer to shore, firing directly into enemy positions to support trapped infantry. Breaking through by afternoon, the impossible happened. Allied troops pushed beyond the beaches. German defenses began to crumble. What started as chaos slowly turned into momentum. The cost of one day by nightfall, the Allies had secured a foothold in Europe. More than 10,000 Allied soldiers were killed, wounded, or missing. But the invasion succeeded. The Atlantic Wall was broken. Holding the beachhead victory on D-Day did not mean safety. German counterattacks were expected. Allied forces worked non-stop to reinforce their positions. Supplies, tanks, and troops poured onto the beaches. The liberation begins within weeks. Allied armies pushed deeper into France. Towns and villages were liberated one by one. Civilians emerged from hiding, welcoming soldiers as heroes. Germany on the defensive. For the first time in years, Nazi Germany was forced into retreat in Western Europe. Resources were stretched thin. The Eastern and Western fronts closed in. Paris freed. In August 1944, Paris was liberated. The symbolic heart of France was free again. D-Day had made it possible. The long road to Berlin, the war did not end immediately. Fierce fighting continued through France, Belgium, and Germany. But the outcome was now inevitable. Why D-Day matters. D-Day was not just a battle, it was a turning point for humanity. It proved that tyranny could be challenged. It showed what unity, planning, and sacrifice could achieve. America's defining moment for the United States, D-Day defined its role as a global military power. American soldiers had crossed an ocean to fight not for land, but for freedom. The human cost, thousands never returned home. Many lie buried in Normandy to this day. Their sacrifice bought the future. Legacy of courage. Every modern military operation studies D-Day. Not for its perfection, but for its courage under uncertainty. The shore that changed the world. The beaches of Normandy are quiet now. Waves rolled gently where bullets once flew. But history remembers what happened there.